Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a green day, and it was a lot different than Friday, right? And what a difference a day makes. And I will tell you, because I'm always asking you guys, like, what are you seeing out there? Do you see people traveling? How's your company's doing? All this stuff. And we just got back from the mountains today, as a matter of fact. And I can tell you right now, when we were up there, all those cabins were rented out. The roads were busy. The area we were in was just packed out. So, yes, at least people are still traveling up to North Georgia, that's for sure. And so again, fun times, but yes, people are still spending money and traveling. So wanted to do my part on that one. Again, always let us know what you're finding in your area if you're on the road and stuff. And obviously there's a few things we're looking out for. I always tell you I'm going to keep you up to date. And I apologize, my throat is really sore because the temperature dropped to like in the low 30s. And in North Florida, it's not that cold right there. So wasn't expecting that. So definitely got a sore throat, runny nose, the whole family does. So I'm gonna try to make it through this one for you. Now, there's some things, again, I told you I'd keep you up to date for before we even get into looking at the charts and everything else and earnings and all that good stuff we got coming up this week. It's amazing what time does here. I mean, look at how fast these bulls have flipped. On September 27th, you're at 28%, and the sentiment has flipped saying, where will the market be in 6 months? 40% say it's bullish, right? Only 36% say it's going to be red. The other things we're going to keep up to date. Remember, this is a lagging indicator, but this is margin debt, right? We got a lot of leverage out there, and the markets go up even higher when you see more leverage coming in. That's why you saw that big kick up from October going through like March. Well, now it's kind of stalled out, right? Over the last 2 months, we've had a stall out. Well, over the last couple of months, we've had a stall out, right? And this is the dollar figure here in billions. And so what I'm kind of waiting to see here is another big spike up. Normally, as you can see by the chart, that happens after a recession, but we haven't had a recession yet, right? When you go to the percentage, you can see the same thing. We are over the zero line finally, so it's back in the positive. Was in the negative territory. But again, if you look at all these other times where you've had this move start to come up, you eventually get another big spike up, which I believe was like January, February. We had this happen in June as well. And so I'll keep you updated on that one. And again, not only margin, but where's the money coming into, right? These hedge funds have to put money somewhere. We know they've been pulling out of China stocks. Now we got this one right here. It says for Asia minus China. You can see over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, they've been pulling out of those as well. So where's the money going to go? That's the big question. One of the most crowded trades to watch now is long the US dollar. I've seen people putting this out. But this is where money's been going. They're betting the dollar is going to go higher now all of a sudden coming into October versus August, September. You didn't have that. It was down there long on risk in August. And then that dropped all the way down to 14%. So it's a pretty crowded trade. We'll see if people stay in it or not. And that's really important because if the dollar continues to go up, as you can see with this chart right here, that trend line was trying to get above it. It had held since July. But as you can see, that is resistance now. And so if this weakens, you should see stocks start to go back up, especially if the yields roll over. But again, we'll have to watch that. And the strong dollar just wreaks havoc around the globe. Again, 10-year here, it was actually green today. But it's, if it gets back in this channel and starts coming down, as I talked about on Friday, we'll have to see because they're still going to be issuing a lot more bonds. And don't forget, we got the 20-year auction this week, which I'll definitely remind us before it happens, and I'll be watching it for sure in our Discord reporting what happens if we get another weak bond auction and yield spike again. That's not good for stocks. Now the Qs, again, huge red day Friday, just a bloodbath Friday. It still hadn't got above that October trend line. Again, that is resistance. It was right at the top of the channel. It got rejected before. We've had many rejections in this channel. So until you make it above that trend line and finally break out of this channel, it can keep going up and down all it wants to, right? We could just see some sideways action because what do we got? We got a boatload of big earnings this week. And so if they come out good and guidance is good, yeah, we'll probably go to the moon. Now, IWM, until further notice, it's still a hot mess. The head and shoulders is still into play. It'll start to get some life. It sells back off. It starts to get some life. It sells back off. And so, again, it's right above that huge demand area. So it definitely has really good support beneath it for sure. It's just sitting in a huge resistance area. That trend line is ascending up, will be resistance again, and then around the 178 mark is going to be resistance. If they can make it above that, I think it's going to go to 184 pretty fast. But again, it has to start getting some love for these small caps. Now, I've told you this, and I've told members this multiple times, and I said in the Saturday video, watch these equal weighted ETFs when it comes to the Qs and the S&P. You've seen this multiple times now. We saw it once last week, and today what happened? The QQEW outperformed QQQ, and the RSP, which is the equal weighted S&P ETF, outperformed the the SPY, excuse me. So watch that right there. That's today. And again, the reason why I say this is because people say, well, what happens, how are we going to know if they're rotating maybe some money out of the Magnificent Seven and start actually giving some love to all these other stocks? Well, you can see right here, this is year to date. So, 10 months in, and you can see the QQQ up 40%, the QQEW is 17%, and the SPY is up 14.5%, and the RSP is completely flat. Okay, so there's a lot of love to be given. We just got to watch out and see what happens. Now, the reason why that's important is because you can see what happened today, right? The Magnificent Seven goes huge. But what was funny though, did you see Apple today? It was just flat or red almost the entire day, which of course it's the heaviest weight of them all. And I found that to be kind of interesting. Another thing to keep an eye on. And you can see again, it's still in this falling wedge. It's finally managed to, it's trying to gain the 50, I should say, more than anything else. 200 is right down below right there. Again, it's setting at a lot of resistance around that 178 area. Still seems to have some momentum. Haven't really lost it. And again, this is usually a bullish formation where it will bust out. But I just find it very interesting that the rest of them are going crazy today, all green, and then Apple's just kind of just sitting there, right? Again, it's treated different than any other stock, so keep an eye on that one because it doesn't report this week, so we don't have to worry about that this week. But I just find it interesting that everybody's getting love, and I'm talking about stocks that are high beta garbage. We're getting plenty of love. It's just been hammered down like they stole something, and then Apple's getting ignored, which it was just interesting to me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, the flows, remember Friday? The flows were what? Red on NVIDIA and Tesla and all of them, right? Flows switched today. And before we continue, guys, please hit that like button there at the bottom. Give it a thumbs up. Helps people find the video. And if you like this kind of content, think about subscribing. I appreciate all you guys' support. Who's the top two dogs? NVIDIA and Tesla, right? And you can just look right here. And the one thing I still want to see if it plays out or not is this head and shoulders. Is that a right shoulder forming on NVIDIA? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Again, these don't always have to do it. There will be your neckline right there. They don't report for a long time, not till November. I think it's the November 17th, so we don't have to worry about that. And, again, it is NVIDIA. I get it. I know people are screaming, going, dude, it's NVIDIA. I mean, it's still got momentum. People buy this up like hotcakes. There's no doubt about that. But again, when does the flow stop, or does the AI pump keep going, right? For NVIDIA, that's the question. When other stocks are going to be reporting, if they're reporting good earnings, aren't they going to get love over NVIDIA for just a short term? That's the really big question. Tesla, of course, we drew these trend lines out on Friday, and you can see it busted through that trend line right there and caught it as support. Now, next resistance is going to be right up here. Around like the 258 area right there, you can see it. So it's got that volume gap. So if it's bullish tomorrow and it starts getting huge call flow, it's going to pump fast around 258 right there. Again, that's got 5 rejections already. We'll see if that'll be the 6th one where it just kind of sits there. But again, when you pull out, bigger picture here, still in this wedge, still wedging down, and reports on Wednesday. And one thing they're going to be looking out for is the Cybertruck news, right? Because the expectations are low right now because they know China's been slowing down, different slowdown in other countries and stuff. But the Cybertruck, how much demand they got it, how many people have ordered these trucks, things like that. So pay close attention to that one. Now, Netflix, as we talked about, is it going to get a technical bounce? The answer is yes. It's been in this channel since July. Technical bounces do exist. You can see how many bounces it's got in this channel so far, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? And then we go and add the moving averages. You can see it's sitting there still below down that 200 right there. That gap is right down below. They report on Wednesday. So if the numbers aren't good, that gap is getting filled. If not, it's got a nice big runway up. So just keep that in mind. This has been like one of these darlings, right? And Alibaba is simple. Still in this falling wedge, which yes, is normally a bullish pattern. But this is what you got to watch out for right here, folks. This came out today. Country Garden in final hour to avoid first dollar bond default. The builder, which has became a symbol of China's broad property debt crisis, missed the original deadline for the 15.4 million coupon on the note last month. The bond carries a 30-day grace period, and that ends on October 17th, 18th. So tomorrow or the next day, whichever day it is. But that's what you got to watch out for, because if they default, that is going to weigh heavy on Chinese stocks. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward here. Now, earnings, we're going to sit here with Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs, Johnson & Johnson. In the afternoon, United Airlines, Interactive Brokers, J.B. Hunt, Pinnacle. And then when it comes to economic data, we'll have a boatload of Fed speakers. You will have retail sales in the morning, month over month, year over year. The Red Book year over year, if anybody even cares about that. And then you have a bunch of industrial data coming out really right before the market opens up. Production month over month, year over year. Manufacturing production year over year, month over month. And then we'll open right after a Fed speaker speaks. And then we'll have a lot of different stuff after open, right? NAHB Housing Market Index, business inventories month over month, retail inventories, another Fed speaker. And so the big question is, was this just a run up going into more bank earnings, more regional banks, more economic data that could come out to be bad or good? That's what you got to, keep in mind. I think hopefully you're used to by now these 1% and 1.5% swings up and down. I was actually, I don't know about you, I was in the car driving, just kept paying attention to it, and I was waiting for the sell off. Honestly, I was like, here, where's the U-turn? And we got a little bit of one, right? But it held up, all right, better than usual. But again, when you look at the chart, you're like, well, it's basically it's not even a recovery from what happened Friday, right? So, it's just, I think it's going to continue to be that way, at least for the rest of the week. Again, we'll see how Netflix, Tesla reports. We'll see how the market digests the bank earnings and stuff, because Friday, they crushed earnings. It didn't matter. Market still sold off. And so, it could be one of those things where we literally it's up and down all over the place, but when you look at it, it's just stuck in a range. Like that could be what's going on for at least maybe a week or two in October. Or in this market, who the hell knows? It could just blast off or blast down. But, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be back in full swing tomorrow. Appreciate your patience with my throat and stuff, and hopefully that feels better. I'll be sucking down cough drops like crazy tonight. And hoping I don't wake up with a fever tomorrow. So anyway, hope you guys have a good one. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.